Hello, everyone. Real quick, before this episode, Troy, we have a Patreon.
We do.
And a coffee.
And we do.
For those of you that don't know, Patreon is a website where you can donate monthly to your favorite content creators to help support them and become a part of their community, like us.
We do.
Coffee, Ko-Fi, is very similar, but it's one-time payments and donations. You can just shoot us a couple bucks to buy a coffee.
And you won't get addicted to the caffeine.
Absolutely. It's all, completely optional. Obviously, we're going to keep making podcasts until the day we die or the day you guys stop being my friends. But until that point,
One is sooner than the other. You can decide.
I don't like those odds. So it's real simple. It's Patreon, patreon.com/TB&J podcast. And that's also the same for coffee, Ko-Fi.com/TBANDJ podcast. It's the same for both. Head on over, give us a check out if you want to, or not. If you like us, just spread us around to your friends like
Wildfire.
Okay, I was going to say a bad venereal disease, but I like yours better. Thank you all, and on with the show.
We do.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the TB&J podcast. Across from me is Troy Brittingham.
And you're Jeff.
And D is over there.
I'm here. Why do you always gotta be weird?
He had all the energy. He threw in all the energy, so I just wanted to balance out the room. I didn't want it to be too much of a thing. Like, he hit me with a lot. He hit me with a lot.
You know what, Jeff?
No, you always do this.
No.
This is the full spoiler cast version of the Bullet Train movie. Let's kick it off, bitches.
And he called all the viewers bitches. It's a whole thing.
I say it in a loving way. It's a term of endearment where I come from. TB&J!
Welcome to 99.9 The Heat.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we saw Bullet Train. One of us more recently than the other two, but that's okay. Originally a Japanese novel by the author Kotaro Isaka. I think I've pronounced that two different times now.
Probably two different ways.
It's a jovel.
Yeah, a jovel. Turns out it's actually part of a short series he started writing. The next novel is called Three Assassins in English, or Grasshopper in Japanese.
Three Assassins.
Yeah. Anyway, so Bullet Train, it's one of those movies that we all know the structure, right? It's a bunch of people that are all gathered in a place.
I don't know if I do.
They don't.
Do we know what we're getting into?
Actually, you know what? No, we don't. Backtrack.
Do we know what a movie is?
No, I have no idea.
I think we
what
know
is
that there's that's what I'm questioning. Like, do we know the structure of this movie? Did people saw the previews of this movie, and do they sit there and go, I know the structure of this movie? In the sense, I think that, yes, it's on a train. So you get, as we mentioned in the spoiler free, the Snowpiercer kind of everything's on this train, in a sense, right? So you get that element. But beyond that, I think we also see something where, people are fighting on the train.
No, you're absolutely right, and I'm wrong, and I was looking at it in the opinion of having already watched it, and it's like, oh, this is an ensemble spy movie.
Right. But I do think that when I saw the previews, I was like, no, I think I know this movie, because I've seen... It's just, you're doing Pulp Fiction with a briefcase on a Snowpiercer train. It's just
there's some John Wick action.
I'm not, with and there's some kind of, and there's a little bit of Ocean's 11 kind of stuff mixed in there. And I think that's probably a good mixture of the three. Although I'd probably say less Pulp Fiction and more Kill Bill, maybe?
Sure. Yeah, maybe.
But maybe the fine line between
a lot of swords.
So, just going over the characters, we have Brad Pitt, who plays a character named Ladybug, and that's my favorite thing about this whole movie is that nobody has a real name; it's all code names. It's my favorite thing about this movie.
And the Ladybug element of this is the theme that keeps everything together.
Yes,
in this is that all of this movie is based on the central premise that he establishes, that he has this, what he calls bad luck, what others call good luck, which we clearly see to be a good luck, I think, in the end. Though it's it makes sense. it's a mixture of the two.
Yeah, it's a mixture of the two.
Yeah, he's like a black cat.
It boils down to they say this at the very end when the old man he tells him the old Japanese story of how a ladybug and its 7 spots are symbolic of absorbing all the bad luck from the world so that the rest of us can have good luck. And that's kind of the embodiment of Ladybug as a character. A lot of bad things happen to him in his eyes, but we as the viewers looking in from an omnipresent point of view, we see it as, oh no, that's a great thing. That Spanish guy was definitely going to murder you, and you accidentally killed him instead, and that's awesome. And this you hate guns, you're never going to fire them. That's why you didn't pull the trigger on that gun the prince made that would have killed you. Like, a lot of things that he sees as bad luck are actually incredibly good luck. And it's also one of those movies where everything happens for an exact reason, and nothing happens that doesn't have like a weird setup to it, and that also has like a good payoff at the end. And everything has a beginning and an end.
Some of the really long cons and some of the shorter things, and one of them being like the Thomas the Tank Engine, which I alluded to in the spoiler free, which is just like this idiosyncratic thing about Lemon, where he acknowledges that everybody he categorizes everybody as someone from Thomas the Tank, right? Is that the name of the whole thing?
Thomas the Tank Engine, or Thomas and Friends, as it's called in the UK, where they grew up.
And who is the character that is a
Diesel is the bad guy.
Like, oh, you're a Diesel, and you know, I kind of dug it, and I didn't, and I even know the trope of putting a signifier on someone else to pay off.
Especially something as innocuous as a child sticker. You never would have noticed
that.
Right.
It's such a simple thing. He has these stickers, and he eventually uses it. And it shouldn't work for me, but it's so simple, and it worked for me. I don't know why. But it has something to do that it just, the two of them as these brothers, which I love it. Like, they just are fun and different and British, and like, it just... And damn it, Tangerine looks so fucking good. I mean, oh my gosh. Like, this guy, with a point where...
We said it in the previous one, but Tangerine is played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, who also did Pietro in the movies for Marvel's Cinematic Universe. And Kick-Ass,
and he
a bunch of others.
So amazing in this. And there's a point where they have a ton of cameos in this movie, but one, probably the best one, is from... Channing Tatum.
Oh my God, Channing Tatum's cameo was amazing.
Because he has like 2 scenes, probably, or maybe 3 quick scenes where it's just the first one is where he's the guy says, "You want to make $200?" and he's like, "What is it, like a sex thing?" And he's like, "No, just like, you want to wear this for me?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, sure."
Yeah,
just
good.
Like, you know,
good.
But then after that, you have
the payoff of
Aaron
that.
Taylor Johnson's character just walking up like intent as fuck. I forget the scene, but he is.
Tangerine grabs him by the shoulder, and Channing Tatum looks up, and he's like, "Is this the sex stuff?" And I'm just like, I lost my shit.
He is no, but he's walking up this the aisle.
Yeah, it's after he falls out of the train,
and he is just walking with this intent. And Channing Tatum hasn't been in the plot for like what, they just cut back to him for one last time, and
it's
just
cut
like
to 15,
him, and he's just
minutes.
like, "Oh my God, that guy's got a great walk," and it's like this meta moment of the movie where you're just like, fucking A, he does, because this is after the scene where he gets off, because one of the premises of the scene is the bullet train stops for like 1 minute. It stops for 1 minute in all its locations.
Exactly 1 minute, yeah.
So, like, people who are wanting this briefcase or wanting the job done from all these various people are, like, stopping and, like, checking on them. And he's got to, like, check in and make sure that they're doing right. And he comes out and meets them at one point, and he's just in his vest and his suit, and it's just like, and he's just coming, full bravado to sell the situation and all this. And it's just like, fuck, you look good. Wow, like, so much of my thumbs up for this movie weighs heavily on his performance and character and the way, and just the storyline they weaved for it. I was just like, wow.
Lemon and Tangerine
so
are
engaging.
easily they're easily my two favorites of the movie.
Absolutely. They were fucking amazing. They could have had their own spin-off movie by themselves, and I would have watched the fuck out of that.
And everybody tries to do this, right? Everybody tries to recreate like Jules and whoever, Jules and Verne from...
I think Jules and Verne, yeah.
From Pulp Fiction. And on the surface, it's like, okay, you have a white guy and a black guy. They're both kind of set their 70s out a little bit, I guess. Like they're eccentric hitmen. Like they fit the profile exactly, but they're doing it because oh my gosh, they just look good, and they're fun, and I want to hear their banter more. And like, damn it, like, is it too much like? Is it like they actually married a little bit of like Jules and Verne from Pulp Fiction and all the Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels Guy Ritchie shit?
Oh yeah,
because they're British, and like, did they just boil that all together into one thing?
Right, yeah.
It certainly feels
they are characters that you've seen before, but they're enough of an amalgamation off of other things.
It's just finally done well.
Yeah,
it was done so well. Like, they easily
It shouldn't be as good. It shouldn't be as good as it is.
No, they could have made this like super fucking cheesy, and they chose not to, and I'm so grateful.
And oh gosh, and give me the name of the guy who's in everything. He's got to be a new Cake, right? He's definitely Asian Cake. He's Japanese
you're talking
Cake.
about the guy who's the old man?
Yeah, he's
Hiroyuki Sanada.
He's literally he's Scorpion, right?
Yeah,
Scorpion. He's we've covered him enough that like he's in everything. He's in we haven't covered Westworld, but like he's in Westworld.
Mm-hmm.
He's in Endgame. He's in
oh shit,
he is in Endgame. That's right. I forgot about that.
He's every
he's even
guy that plays
it's even better. He's Kenji in Rush Hour 3, and he's Yu-Gi-Oh in The Last Samurai, one of the best fucking movies. Holy shit!
His entire essence is samurai. Like he looks like he should probably be the next Karate Mr. Miyagi.
He was in The Wolverine and Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
Yep.
Of course.
I don't remember him.
No
in
relation.
Interesting. No, but like this guy's
the
been
Wolverine
in
also has a bullet train fight.
He's been acting since 1966. Holy goddamn shit. He looks really good for his age. And he's going to be in John Wick 4 next year.
That's actually pretty awesome.
Oh my god.
Hey guys, I had an idea. Tom Cruise should be the final bad in John Wick. Like John Wick 5 or whatever the fuck they end it. Like Tom
You
Cruise.
think so?
Like evil Tom Cruise is the best. Holy fuck. What if they made the final big bad in John Wick his character from Collateral?
Ooh.
I love this story.
Oh,
I want
guys,
it to happen now.
He was in Minions. He was Dumo the sumo minion.
Oh, okay, now I'm in.
Now it's racist.
Maybe.
No, this
That's
guy.
where all the Facebook memes come in.
This guy is fucking amazing, and he looks amazing for being 61.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my god!
I love still we refer to him as this guy.
Hiroyuki Sanada. I feel like I'm being very disrespectful.
Sanada is Cake.
Mr. Sanada
is our third member in the Cake category. He has to be, right?
I'll allow it.
So with our other members,
he's Asian Cake.
Who are our two other
Japanese Cake
members?
Taika Waititi and Giancarlo Esposito.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Taika Waititi, Esposito, and
Giancarlo
Sanada.
Mr. Sanada.
He's my favorite.
Sensei Sanada.
Well,
Sanada-san.
He's great. And I love his character in this. It all kind of comes back together. I don't know what else to say about this movie. It's not super cohesive to me. It's there's what's in the what are they looking for? Is it money?
The briefcase,
is full of money. So
full of money.
So here's the
I don't
plot.
need to know all the plots of it. There's the big bad played by the big bad guy,
Michael Shannon.
Yeah, Zod.
He plays the Russian.
Yes.
General Zod.
Yeah, he plays the Russian crime boss.
White Death.
The White Death. Yeah, but it's Lemon and Tangerine have the briefcase of money because they saved the White Death's son, and they have.
It
the
gets
son
so
and the money.
complicated. Like it
does, but you can follow it. You chose not
want to.
Like, I did.
I mean, like, does anybody want to go through it? Is that what this is?
Not go through it like
no. I'm just saying, like, we don't need to go through it. I'm just saying, like, we don't need to go through like all that stuff. It's just like that's the thing is like everything is so far connected. All of these people are hitmen. Subnature, and either way, everybody's double crossed and backboned, and in the end, it's because of Ryan Reynolds. Is a jackass, and he's filling, and Brad Pitt's character is filling in for him.
Yep.
Which I loved. Those are the couple meta moments of this movie where you get the fact that Brad Pitt's character and Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, when they're like, "Oh yeah, you guys do look like twins," and it's like when what is Lemon's name in real life?
Lemon is played by, I have it right here, Brian Henry.
Brian Henry, who plays Paperboy to perfection in Atlanta, and he's also been, I think, in Us or the other some other Jordan Peele works.
I'll know in a second.
He's just really good. He's a phenomenal actor. He was also in Eternals.
He was in Eternals. He was Phastos. He was the tech guy.
Yeah. He's the guy that I liked the most.
Yeah,
but I liked Kingo the most.
Right. He's just very likable. He's incredibly Paperboy is an amazing character that he plays.
He was Officer Jefferson Davis in Spider-Verse.
Yes.
He was Miles' dad.
Yeah, he's his dad in Spider-Verse.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's somebody who hasn't
been
like
very good actor.
He's somebody who hasn't been like
good.
super.
He's not in the
much.
Jordan Peele stuff, by the way.
He's not in Us?
No.
I thought, or he's in the new one?
Nope.
Okay. It's my bad on that one.
Nope is the name and Nope is the answer.
Damn. It's so perfect. Okay, so that's my bad on that one. But no, I really enjoy him, and he is great in this. And I just think he has so many lines. He has so many lines that he's delivering for this character that is in the end very simple. And he kind of it's so very British, and it could so easily lead me astray. But he's really good. And I loved their love for one another as brothers in this movie. And they showed one still shot, slow-mo shot of them as children for a hot second, for
that's actually one of the few
movie.
things that,
and it does all you need.
So I'm gonna try to slide my way into the negatives, because I did give this a thumbs down in the non-spoiler one. In a movie that I think sometimes over-explains a little too much in flashbacks, that was the perfect one where they're just like, yep, and they were kids. Fair. And then good. But in some of the over-explaining ones, there's certain things where they'll say, when the lady's like, oh, you stole my snake or whatever, and then it just cuts back to an image of the snake, and you're just like, yeah, we get it, that's the snake, we all remember the snake.
Sure. I will say, counterpoint to that,
okay,
because my fiance watches a lot of anime. I've noticed that's something they do a lot in some of the animes, where they do a lot of flashbacks to do something. It's and it's you don't recognize me, and then they do a flashback, and it's oh, you're the guy that I bumped into at the train station.
Sure.
And it's I'm wondering if that's something that is a staple of Eastern storytelling that we're not used to in Western storytelling.
Yeah, a trope that isn't necessarily as big in America.
Exactly, and I'm wondering if that's just one of those things that got lost in translation, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Maybe they should have done a little bit better for the Americanization of it, or just leave it as such and tell the Americans to fucking deal with it.
The Wolf storyline is a perfect example of this, right?
Yes.
Yeah, his whole...
And it's probably my favorite storyline of this whole thing.
Yeah, in the present day, the Wolf is only alive for 10 seconds before Brad Pitt kills him.
Is played by someone.
The Wolf is
Well, they're all played by someone. It's actors. That's how the movies work.
Yeah, right. The Wolf is played by... the Wolf is the kid.
That sentence.
Bad Bunny. He's a Hispanic pop star, and he has sold more tickets than every other pop star in the world for the last 2 years.
So
he's incredibly popular.
I love this little backstory.
He's from Puerto Rico.
It's so another element of this stylish world. He helps sell this. He helps sell Lemon and Tangerine to me because Brad Pitt looks like he just finished recording an album. The video for You Only Get What You Give by the New Radicals. He's got this what is the
what a specific reference.
What is the hat that he's wearing? What is that called?
Bucket hat?
The bucket hat. Yeah.
Thank you.
Those bucket hats that were popular for like 1 year in '99. He's wearing that the entire thing. He just looks like this goofy kind of touristy guy, and that's like one element to it. And then you have obviously Tangerine and Lemon, who are just like dripping with style. Don't they also wear like crazy hats when they're killing in their flat like quick shots of like killing fields? I thought they were very like Umbrella Academy like.
They had plastic hoods on. They were wearing like a plastic poncho to like get the blood spatter.
Yeah, I thought they had like kind of crazy zany faces.
I don't think so.
Maybe not.
They did wear their suits under the ponchos though.
But they were. There was this just crazy element. Well, there was also this Asian element that was running throughout it because obviously it was this Japanese thing, but they also had that character wasn't also just ambiance; it was also worked into the whole entire narrative.
Right. Absolutely,
and that was another thing was like all of the style pieces, which like, and this is where I think this movie succeeded is like. The movie that I was trying to come up with, I think on the night of the watch, I was trying to come up with the movie Smoking Aces. Smoking Aces was a movie with Jeremy Piven and Ryan Reynolds and like just a plethora of things, and it's just everybody is trying to assassinate Jeremy Piven's character in a casino in Vegas one night, and it's just like the same kind of premise, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone's trying to kill everybody. There's a new group of assassins and killers of eccentric characters. It's just John Wick before they did John Wick, but like eccentric characters and ostentatious. And it didn't work because you know what that movie did was they had 15 different groups of people that you eventually had to follow. Like everybody lasted for like a second, and they murdered each other, and then it was like a whole other group that you got into, and you kind of got into this, and I never knew which way was up. This one, they limit that number to like maybe 6 total, and at least 3 of those are like side things that you don't know whether or not they're going to be a dead end, like the wolf, because you learn about the wolf, I think, like, right before he dies.
Yes.
Like
he gets on the train, you get his whole backstory, and then he dies in that fight.
Yeah, and then it's just like, and it's like, that's awesome. And so you don't know if you're going to get that, or if you're going to get a character that's going to be meaningful by the end of this movie. And and that is where I think the magic of this movie happens, where it's like, I really didn't know which characters mattered and which ones didn't. Mm-hmm. And that made it so engaging from moment to moment.
It also
if I could call like a lot of what was going to happen next.
Right. Yeah. It also adds some stakes to characters of like the ones that do seem important, like and have been in the movie for most of the time. You're like, oh, they can die, and a few of them, or just the one, really ends up actually being dead by the end. Tangerine,
the Prince.
And the Prince, but
Prince
that's the end.
I don't
of the
think
movie.
we're supposed to like her, though.
No,
I don't think we're.
She's very much the villain, like through and through.
There's like for a lot of the movie, I guess
arguably more of a villain than Michael Shannon.
Like, do you meet the Prince at any given point and are on her side? Like, because there's a point where you don't know what her deal is, and you kind of know what the dad's deal is, who's like trying to avenge his son, or
when you figure out that he is her father, there's kind of a moment where like you could argue she comes off a little bit sympathetic, but it's hard to say there. I mean,
in my opinion, she did, because she's like, I was your daughter. I was more like you than your son ever was. Now he's fucking dead. Look at me. I did all this just to like get your attention. And
we're
he's
empathetic
just like,
to her, but she's not.
And then her dad's just like, you've never fucking mattered. Get out of my way.
We're empathetic to her. She's a full character, but she's not a protagonist. She never comes up. She's not. Lemon and Tangerine feel just as connected. I feel just as connected to them as I do Brad Pitt's character, who's clearly like the main central protagonist.
I'd even say more, personally.
Well, we're introduced with Brad Pitt, who we end with, and it's his story.
Yes.
So I would find them central, but then like then it cascades. Like, so then you get Tangerine and Lemon, and I am like equally invested in them. But you also have the dad, right? Actually, I think we're first introduced to the dad slash son.
The very first character in the movie, yeah.
The dad slash son, whose son is in the hospital and whose dad is Sonato, right?
Yeah. The elder is the character's name.
And he's sympathetic, but you also don't know what his deal is.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you are introduced to a number of characters, but, like, the only ones that you're kind of asked to like are these three. I think maybe you're asked to maybe like the prince at the early goings, but she's not as likable.
Yeah,
I don't think you are, because the first time we see the prince is when she fucking tases the father.
Well, there's like an aspect of her that's like this sort of over the top, almost cartoony style, like evil.
Everybody's at odds early on. Everybody's kind of like everyone's just doing their thing, so you don't know where anybody's coming from. So even if she is kind of introduced, and I forget how, but like as like tasing this guy, like you don't know if she's doing it for the right reason or the wrong reason.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what her deal is. So and then she's kind of telling the story, and you're like, okay, but she's not likable, and what she lacks is the person to bounce off of. Or the connection, and this is the thing: is like both Brad Pitt's character has Sandra Bullock's character, and the twins have each other that are equally likable. Like where it's like it's not an antagonistic relationship. Hers is with the elder or whoever or this guy's, and he is, and it's an antagonistic relationship. So you never. She always seems antagonistic on the wrong side of things. And we're always on the side of Tangerine, Lemon, and Brad Pitt.
Yeah, and she
Ladybug.
Like I was saying before, she's sort of a kind of character archetype that I like, and kind of wish that I liked her a little bit more in this movie. Because she kind of comes off as like almost kind of in a weird way like of like the Azula of the movie. If that makes sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah, she's
like,
the bad guy, but like there is a little bit of sympathy to be had if you dig deeper.
Not even that. I'm just talking about like sort of the like she's very clearly like kind of a narcissistic, evil kind of character in this. Like you could argue out of all of them, they're just kind of goofy dudes who are also assassins, and she's like kind of the one that you're like, she's actually probably a little evil.
Her motivation is a classic motivation of an evil brethren, the brethren of evil.
Yes,
the prodigy of evil, like wanting to be recognized for the evil that they do, and never being good enough for their evil thing. Being evil to do that, and like it's Cersei from Game of Thrones. It's like it's so many like you never looked at me because I'm the. It's the other. It's Shang-Chi's sister in Shang-Chi. Yep. It's. I mean, we've seen this archetype that like she's never seen, so she's going to be the best there is at that.
But I'm also a big fan of. I was kind of excited to see, like, I feel like we've moved away from like pretty pure evil characters in movies for a while. Like, and I was kind of excited to see, like, just a sort of fun, unapologetically mean villain, and she kind of delivers on it, but not enough for me.
Well, you needed that in this film.
Yes.
As you see with General Zod by the end of it, the White Death is just like, completely. I find this interesting because of like he is reminiscent of the Kill Bill character, the Bill in Kill Bill, this unnamed, unfaced character that you see in, and those tropes I love, and this is where it was reminiscent of Kill Bill, and I liked its stylings. The movie just worked for me. I can understand if it doesn't work for everybody. I can understand if somebody just like that, like if you don't latch on to all. I could see how like there's a bunch of things that they're throwing a bunch of style things in the air and they're latching them all together. And the way they latched them together, I really enjoyed. I could see someone being like, "This is the dumbest way to latch these things together." Like, duh, I hate this. If it's just not in the right configuration, you don't like it. But I think it's fun, and I think if you give it a chance, it holds together and it works.
Yeah, I'm like 50-50 on that. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, that's a really cool payoff, and sometimes I'm just like, so sometimes the movie cheats a little bit. like with the water bottle, specifically the one that I think of, where they throw in a flashback that explains how this thing that's like maybe referenced before, but they kind of put it in, just like, look how long it's made it, and you're like, well, it really hasn't made it that far. You're just kind of saying it did now.
So fair, but
also very clearly a Fiji sponsorship.
Yeah.
But let me put it this way: if this movie, and I know we don't live in this world anymore, but like if this movie were on TBS every Saturday,
I'd probably watch through it.
Like this movie would be like, this movie reminds me of like the movies that I would watch on Saturdays on USA, like all weekend, and like the edited version where you're just like, oh, I love that movie. I would watch it all the time because it's an action movie and there's like iconic scenes and characters that would stick with it, and then it would be like this cult thing. So it feels like a movie that, like, if you like that sort of thing, this movie's going to be. It's worth your time if you're looking for something to do, and definitely worth a watch once it's on, streaming. But I definitely think it's any bad praise that is, negativity or like kind of.
Are you saying
aloofness.
you wouldn't go see it in theaters? Knowing
no, I
would.
No, I would.
Okay.
I would definitely go see it. Like, I mean, listen, if you're thinking of going to the movies and this is in the theaters, go see it. I think it's worth seeing. I think you'll have fun. I don't know what else you're going to the theater for, like beyond this, because there's plenty of movies that I'm just like, oh, that was a movie, or that was. I would watch that, but I don't want to. I don't need to watch it in the theater.
Yeah,
or
I don't need to spend $13
in hindsight,
to do it.
like for instance, like Scream, like the most recent Scream. I saw with my brother-in-law. He loves horror movies. We went to see it. Fine, but I would not recommend you go. Like, I would always recommend a horror movie generally to see it.
Guys, this movie hasn't even broke even yet.
Really?
This movie came out August 5th. We're recording on the 11th.
I was in a very empty theater today.
So far, according to Box Office Mojo, it's only made $71.3 million on a budget of $94.
That's sad. I do want it to make money.
I wonder how much that budget was Brad Pitt and Sandra Bullock in her minor role.
That's another flashback.
Maybe.
That's almost another flashback of when they go back and they're having Sandra Bullock deliver all the lines she gave on the phone. And I was like, I think we got there. I think we figured it out.
Pardon me, I had wrong information. It was $85 to $90 million. But still, it's only made 71.3.
Yeah, it's not a franchise thing. It's
only made 71.3 what?
Million.
It's only made that?
I mean, on a budget of 90.
He's saying it hasn't made the money.
It hasn't made it back.
It hasn't made its money back yet.
It's $20 million.
And it's already been out for like 5-6 days at this point. So like,
it'll make its money. You're right. That's a clunker per se. I don't get it. And I think it was from a lot of bad press, and from probably a bad marketing team that released the trailers for this movie like 6 months ago.
Also, I also
right? Am I wrong in this?
You're also correct, but I was also going to point out in one of the trailers, and this always happens whenever you have a long marketing campaign. One of the trailers literally has Brad Pitt talking to Sandra Bullock off the train.
What?
It's in the thing, and I swear to God, I watched that trailer and was just like, oh, so he makes it. He's fine.
Oh, shit. Oh, man, it's only got a fucking 54 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh.
Yeah, like, this is the female who saw this movie with us.
Dee's wife, for those who aren't longtime listeners.
That's what we refer to actually all women as.
Was
on
actively,
this podcast.
like, looking the next couple of days being like, people are shitting on this movie and it doesn't deserve it. And I was like, I thought it was getting more mixed, more of like a pretty even, like it's good, not great.
Yeah, if it was
reviews,
in the 70s,
but like,
I'd be okay
but
with
it seems like it's getting pretty low. Like, people don't like it, and I'm like, I don't think it should go that way. I think it's a fun movie. And shit, man, Aaron Taylor Johnson is just, oh my gosh, just
so fucking good.
Like, there's not many guys that are gay for it, but man.
It's a shame that he had to be like the one to die. But like,
he dies
damn.
Maybe the most brutally out of anybody in this movie too.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if that's
no.
true.
I think he was.
There's some pretty bad ones.
It was all good. But we have anything else to say about this film?
I don't think so, aside from our letter grades. But this movie was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun watching the movie and the people come together and kill each other and the fucking it was a lot of fun. Also, our girl Karen Fukuhara was in it.
Mon Dieu.
Mon cœur.
Mon cœur.
Yeah. So that was fucking awesome to see. Karen Fukuhara there as the attendant.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this movie, it was a lot of fun to see. It was a lot of fucking killing and fucking heisting. It was so much fun. I enjoyed every second of this movie. As a sufferer of severe ADHD, I constantly pull my phone out during the movies. I'm so bad about that. This one I did not. This one my phone stayed in my pocket. And
it's fun to actually watch.
I mean, my brain wanders and I just pull out my phone.
No, I'm saying it's a fun movie to actually watch.
Okay.
It fully takes over.
I thought you were shitting on me.
No.
I was like, what?
Not at this moment.
Not at this moment.
Soon.
So I recommend you see it. Troy, here's the final drum roll thing. Letter grade.
I'm
what
gonna go. I'm gonna say B-.
Really?
I was I was in the C range, but I did have fun. It's just some of it's not for me. I think that it's one of these things of I've seen the sort of movie, and this isn't my favorite version of it. But I like a lot of the performances, and Lemon and Tangerine alone pull it all the way.
Absolutely stole the show.
Yeah.
Okay. D, letter grade.
I'm gonna go with an A-. I really want to go with like a B++. Because I know, but like I just think like a B+ is going to get too low of a feeling to it, or attachment. It's not to me a B movie. I think it is in a stellar range. It's just on the negative end of that, but it's somewhere between B+ and A-. But yeah, it's in that realm that I'm perfectly happy to live in, and I'm happy these movies are out.
I am going to give it an A.
Okay.
Slightly above what D thought. If a movie sucks, but it's fun, I will give it a very high grade. Like Halloween Kills. Halloween Kills, we saw that last year.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good movie.
No, it's not.
I if we were giving letter grades back then, I would have given it an A. I'd probably stand by that, maybe give it a B.
So what you're saying is like your opinion doesn't matter?
No, I'm not saying my opinion doesn't matter. I'm saying I'm judging a movie based on will you enjoy it.
Just I'm going to give you a grade, but like I'm going to preface it by saying my grades clearly mean nothing, and
no, it's a grade
against it.
I'm grading it on fun, not on quality.
Ugh.
It was a fun movie, so I gave it an A.
I should recalibrate the entire grading system.
No,
we can all have our own grading systems. People will get it eventually.
Listen.
I like fun movies,
but how? Why?
Like fucking, there are movies that are objectively good, but if I'm not having fun, then I don't like it.
But it feels like we're that's a thumbs up, thumbs down. It's like, hey, you want to be fun, like you want to give it as a thumbs up. Hey, it was fun, thumbs up. Now you're giving it a grade. Like it's not just fun. Someone is going to go spend money on this. Is this good? Even if they're not, if they need more than fun.
Well, here's the thing.
I think when I say this, I'm saying like, yeah, this is a fun movie. I agree. I also think this is a good movie, and it's worth your time.
I feel like now's not the
money.
time to critique my letter grade.
I think it's worth the time and money to do it. Do you think it's worth the time and money beyond just fun? Okay, so then it's like, is that a B or like an
That's
A?
all we have today for the TB&J podcast. Thank you all for listening. I want to thank my co-hosts for being here with me. If you
really?
If you liked what you heard, please.
How can we trust your opinion on how much?
Please leave us a kind review on your favorite podcasting platform. Look at that. I've got magic producer powers. I can just mute whoever I want. I could just leave. I could just make it so I'm the only voice you hear, and that's great. So, leave us a kind review. Follow us on social media. We are on Twitter at the TBJ Pod and Andy the Podcast. Goodbye.